What's going on, everybody? It's Stock Picks by Tim, and in this video now I'm going to go over Workhorse. They just released their earnings, and in a little bit here I'll provide you guys with the full earnings call, cut up, edited, shortened down a bit. There's definitely a lot of information there, and I highly recommend you stick around and watch it. But in this video here I'm going to go over their numbers. We've got some good, we've got some bad, and right when the earnings came out, this stock just absolutely tanked. It's already recovering, it's already pushing towards a resistance level now. We'll look at the chart later. But first off, let's look at some Workhorse numbers. And I will leave you guys the link down below as always, so you can look through this yourself. There's definitely a lot of information here. But let's start off with this quote here by the CEO, Rick Dock. Our team is making steady progress executing on our product roadmap, including beginning initial production and delivery of vehicles, as well as adding experienced talent across the organization. During the quarter, we built and sold our first Class 4 vehicles, continued to renovate and prepare our facilities for higher production levels in 2023. We believe the strong interest from customers in our Class 4 series and W56 vehicles represents the significant market opportunity ahead. In parallel, we are managing through the important process of testing and repairing the C1000s. Separately, we're making great strides in our growth plans for aerospace and excited to be launching a new business platform. And I'm going to get into that in a second here. But this stables and stalls platform will help address the unmet needs of small fleet operators making the transition to electric vehicles, such as providing charging infrastructure and service solutions. As we look to the remainder of the year and beyond, we remain focused on achieving our strategic priorities and delivering value for both our customers and shareholders. Now let's glance over a couple highlights here. So they completed the transformation of their Workhorse Union City plant, doubling their available floor space on it. The plant has started initial production of Class 4 vehicles, finalizing process layout plans for the W56 production, which is scheduled to begin in Q3 of 2023, and actively adding hourly staff as it continues to ramp up production on the W4CC and prepares for the start of production of the W7450 in Q1. And they are on track to assemble vehicles in Union City as part of the 3-year contract here by Tropos Technologies, which is beginning in Q4 of 2022. Volumes for final assembly in the US market is expected to reach about 2,000 units per year once their ramp up is complete. And another thing to finally get out of the way here is they announced proposed settlements to resolve previously disclosed securities class action lawsuits and related shareholder derivatives actions, which is subject to court approval. And next up, let's look at a few of their vehicles and touch on a few other things here in a second. So first off, the W4CC and W750. Workhorse continues to see strong interest from customers for its Class 4s and is ramping up production and delivery of the W4CC throughout the remainder of 2022. The company built and sold 10 vehicles this quarter, and they've already built 13 units so far for the next quarter, and we still have all of November, of course, and all of December for that. So that's good to see that they are ramping up, although one negative here I'll get to in a second. Now, as for the W56, about 90% of the materials are already sourced, and final design and testing protocols are expected to be completed by Q2 of 2023. We've got the C1000, which here's a negative here. So the positive thing is they figured out the front suspension issues, but during endurance testing under full payload, the rear suspension proved to be insufficient, and he goes over that in the earnings call into a little bit better detail. But they do expect to complete the testing during Q4 2022, so hopefully they'll finally get the C1000s out of the way. As many of you may know, they are moving on to greener pastures. This was kind of the previous Workhorse. They do have inventory for the C1000, so they wanted to build them up, make use of the inventory, and get those out of there. But it is proving to be kind of difficult here with all these suspension issues and stuff. Now, next up, let's look at the W34. The company's combining Class 3 and Class 4 segment experience generated by the E-Gen and C1000s with modern technology to develop a new vehicle platform. Features of the new platform will include an accessible low-floor frame with improved ride and handling, efficient lightweight systems, and advanced technology. With production beginning in late 24 or early 2025, the new vehicle platform will be coming to market just as the government mandates arrive. And now we have a new service here, the stables and stalls. And through this platform, basically, Workhorse plans on providing services and charging infrastructure to support small fleets and EV powered fleets. And they have already leased and are renovating their first stable, which is an 18,000 square foot facility adjacent to the FedEx Lebanon, Ohio distribution facility. So they are in a pretty strategic place there. Now they also began installing 10 level 2 chargers, or the stalls, to meet initial charging needs. And their plans for this facility is essentially charging, obviously, servicing and repairing vehicles for both Workhorse and other fleets. And here's something kind of interesting here actually. During this quarter, Workhorse purchased and began operating some FedEx routes, and this is in Cincinnati. Now the company is currently servicing the routes with 10 company owned ICE vehicles. These aren't EVs that they are using for this project here, but they do intend to transition to EVs by the end of Q2 2023, so a ways from now. However, The first EV, which is a W750, is going to be integrated into the route this month, so they're going to see how that does. And as said by the CEO, the electrification of commercial vehicles presents both a monumental task and a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Ensuring access to reliable vehicles, adequate charging infrastructure, training and maintenance services is critical for small fleet operators that choose to make the EV transition. With our new Stables Installs platform, Workhorse is proactively meeting those needs. We believe this new platform will provide us revenue growth opportunities that supplement our product roadmap. At the same time, it provides us with an avenue to expand our relationships with both municipal and commercial customers. Now, getting to their aerospace side of things, they are nearing completion for the final flight testing of both the Horsefly and Halo drones ahead of important technology demonstrations for potential commercial and government customers. And they also did develop initial manufacturing process and supply chain plans targeting initial production in 2023. They also did complete their field testing along the Ohio 33 corridor in coordination with the Ohio Department of Transportation and the Ohio State University. And check this out, they successfully completed the data acquisition and delivery for 11% of the farms under USDA grant for the underserved farmers in Mississippi and Arkansas. So just those couple of things kind of give you an idea of the scope of drones. I mean, it doesn't necessarily just have to be delivery out of a workhorse vehicle, you know, there are many more uses. There's agricultural uses, even potentially transportation analytics. You know, you could have a drone up there kind of giving you data on different traffic routes, things like that. And there's of course many other use cases for drones than that. I think we are extremely early, and I honestly think the drone side of things for Workhorse can be a huge winner. Now, they did get 1.5 million in sales compared to 0.6 million at the same period last year. I mean, that's okay. That's not that impressive in my opinion, but it is some growth. The increase in sales was primarily due to an increase in volume of commercial vehicle sales and the launch of the Stables Installs initiative. Now, the cost of these sales did decrease to 9.5 million from 11 million, so right there you'll see that they're negative. SG&A was pretty massive, increases expense to 34.8 million from 10.6 million the prior year. Most of this increase, however, was the $20 million legal settlement expense, so that won't be a recurring expense. And, you know, it kind of sucks that the current Workhorse has to deal with all the mistakes, all the previous management errors. And here's another one, the Lordstown Motors, which the company sold entirely in Q3 of 2021. And this is just another thing that's dragged down Workhorse, you know, just things that could have gone great that just didn't go good, that just actually went the opposite way that anyone would have hoped. But their net loss was 35.4 million compared to the net loss of 81 million in the same period last year. And they still do have $120 million in cash and cash equivalents. But you can see that that number is slowly shrinking as they continue to remain unprofitable. And speaking of unprofitable, they did get a negative 22-cent EPS, which what was expected, I believe, was like 12 cents or something negative. But, you know, we're going to continue to see that. We're not going to see a profit out of this company for quite a while. And success here isn't guaranteed. It's not going to be easy. It seems that this C1000 issue continues to keep rearing its ugly head out. You know, once they fix one thing, once they fix the front suspension, now the back suspension has issues. So it just seems like there's constantly things weighing down on what Workhorse is trying to be. These are all things that the old company was, the C1000s, dealing with Lordstown Motors, dealing with previous lawsuits. So CEO and team definitely have a lot of work ahead of them, but in my eyes, they're definitely making some great progress. And let's check out some 2022 guidance here. Before we look at the stock chart, there are definitely some supports and resistances to watch. But looking at guidance here, Workhorse is reaffirming its revenue guidance and expects to generate between 15 to 25 million in revenue for calendar year 2022. However, they are tightening the range of vehicles expected to be manufactured to between 100 to 200. It was previously 150 to 250, so that was a little decrease in their forward guidance. That could have been partly why it dropped so much. Obviously, also, you know, missing their EPS, missing their revenue expectations. Wall Street just sold it like nobody's business. It's already recovering. I'm going to show you guys a chart in just a second here. But last quote here by the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Bob Geenan. We continue to prudently invest in our people, product portfolios, facilities, and operations as we ramp up production at both our commercial vehicles and aerospace operations. We are also further building out our sales team, aftermarket infrastructure, and capabilities, as well as launching the Stables Installs initiative. We are on track to achieve our outlook for 2022. Besides the vehicles produced, you know, they had to cut that down obviously, and look forward to delivering enhanced value to our customers and shareholders. And like I said, guys, once I get the earnings call finished up and cut up, you can look down below in the description and it'll be there for you. It's not there as of this uploading, as of this recording, but I will get it there for you once I cut up their earnings, clean it up a bit, and make it a little bit easier to listen to. And next up, looking at the chart, you'll see when the market opened, this thing just absolutely tanked. once we got our earnings info. But it found support here right around this 250 area, and it just started absolutely popping. I mean, right now we're up towards our resistance here. I think once we can break potentially 285, this thing can definitely come towards 3, which will be our next resistance moving forwards. We'll see how much it continues to move. It's definitely made a lot of a move here already. It might trade a little sideways before finally potentially testing that breakout. I don't know if we'll see the breakout today. I personally think in the end, you know, this company is going to continue to have expenses. I think we can continue to get some Workhorse for some great deals in the next couple of months still. With the current macro environment, it would surprise me to see this just start running on this Workhorse earnings. I mean, there was some positive developments, definitely, but there were also a couple steps backwards. So in my eyes, I don't think that gives this enough to just have a continued run. It's possible. I kind of doubt it just based on the Fed continuing to raise rates, based on how the overall economy is doing, and based on the fact that Workhorse is going to continue to burn some cash in the next couple quarters at least. However, saying that, I ain't going anywhere, and for me, Workhorse is still a long-term play. But let me know, guys, how you feel about Workhorse. How was their earnings? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks as always, and take it easy.